I've always wondered, what is it that has the ability to shift people from being lovely, bubbly, content to being, critical, judgmental, and generally really, really tense, and not have what causes people to get into that state where they're really, really tense. They seem full, but not in a good way, full of it appears to be something or the other where they don't have the capacity for others, and it just gives off an auric stench. I've always wondered, what is that is happening? What kind of alchemy and transmutation is happening there? And recently I had a personal experience where I was in that state, and it lasted way longer than I wanted. And as a result of being in that state, it produced a lot of apathy, produced a lot of resentment. And what I was able to realize is that usually when you're experiencing that state from others, it is because they don't have anything that is holding them together. And I don't mean the physical things, the external things, right? They might be doing all the physical things, but spiritually they have nothing. They have no anchor. They have nothing that they're holding themselves to. And for me, I have my practices that keep me grounded and my rituals that keep me uplifted for myself. But when I stopped investing in myself and I stopped taking that time outside of the physical for the spiritual tuning and the spiritual relaxation, not just laying down like physical rest, but spiritual relaxation, be it my singing bowls or my my instruments and things like that, even art, reading myth. These are the things that are a part of my spiritual practice. And I neglected it for a very long time because responsibilities, were flooding in thick and fast. And I didn't realize that you have to live while the responsibilities flood in thick and fast. You don't stop living because the responsibilities are flooding in thick and fast, right? If you want certain things for yourself, there's a cost for that. And you have to make the space for that and create the capacity for that within yourself. I didn't do those things. And so the suffering was immense. And as a result of the internal suffering and the internal churning, what I realized was that I couldn't hear people. I couldn't listen very well because I wanted to be heard, and the void was screaming out. And so it created a lot of conflicting interactions, which were very undesirable. But I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And really and truly, it was because I had not been properly administering to my inner world. The physical world was fine. It's good enough. But the inner world was completely thrashed. And the thing with the inner world is that it's not equal to the outer world. So, for example, my weekly body care routine, top to toe, is about 4 hours. And I might do it all in one day, or I'll split it up depending on the type of week I'm having. But my spiritual attunement is about an hour. And that's enough, more than enough. That's plenty to float me for easily the week, 2 weeks, whatever. But it has to be consistent, see? It has to be consistent. And so the next time you have an interaction with someone and they just seem a bit spiky and shifty and just generally slightly unpleasant in a way. It might not be overt, but there's something not quite right. Or if you feel that way, it might be because there's been a severe spiritual drought and you have nothing to hold on to on the inside, and it's causing you to relate to the world in a very harsh manner because you feel harsh on the inside. And the physical world, looking after yourself physically with, say, the baths and the massages and so on and so forth, that's one element, but I would actually argue that that by itself is not enough. I really believe that it's not enough. It's not. I will never say that it should be discarded altogether, because no, your body is the place that you live and you have to dwell here. So it's important that you make it nice, make it good for yourself, make it healthy, right? Give it attention, give it time and everything like that. But that spiritual world is completely different. It doesn't take as much as you think it takes. It doesn't need as much as you think it needs. It doesn't need to be a whole day of chanting per se. I mean, if you could do a whole day, I want to know where you are so I can come, because if you could do a whole day, that will have me levitating. But if you can't do a whole day, you could do 5 minutes. You can do your mantras, you could do your gratitude journal, you could do your instruments, you can acknowledge your ancestors, venerate them, clean your altars. If you go to church, if you go mosque, if you go temple, you could do that. It's very, very important, because it absolutely affects how we see the world, how we deal with people, and it affects the experience that we have. Your inner spiritual practice is a way of cleaning your lens through which you see the world, and it's imperative. It's imperative. There's too many people walking around highly tense, just projecting their internal discomfort onto others, unable to detach from things that probably have nothing to do with them, but they take it so personally, and it's really ruining and eating away at their experience. It doesn't need to be like that. So make some time for your inner spiritual practice. It will change everything. Everything.